And I'm going to ask you to sit back, take notes if you want, but really pay attention. If you have kids in school, this is critical. If you're in sales, your sales will skyrocket. Relationships, just anything that you're going to do is dependent on how you see you. So let's think about it. Cybernetics and paradigms. Very, very interesting subject. Cybernetics and paradigms are both control systems that operate essentially on the same principle. Both maintain a definite course of action and will not deviate from the course that has been established. You must alter the paradigm to achieve the result that you desire. Now think about that for a moment. You'll see people stuck at a certain level. Go ask any sales manager to give you the names of their salespeople, and they can tell you what those salespeople are going to do next month and next year. Why? Because they're programmed. They just come in about the same, maybe up and down a little, but they come in about the same. How about athletes? Every coach will tell you exactly how they're going to play. There's patterns. They're called habitual patterns. Well, that's a paradigm.
Spread love, man.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going deep on something pretty fascinating.
Yeah, this should be fun.
Have you ever felt stuck? Like no matter what you do, you just end up right back where you started.
Ugh. Yeah, I think we all have.
It can be so frustrating. Well, we're going to explore how self-image might actually be the culprit.
It's true.
And it's way more than just thinking positive thoughts, you know?
Absolutely.
We're diving into Bob Proctor's book, How to Build Your Self-Image. And trust me, this is going to change how you see things.
I think a lot of people have the wrong idea about self-image.
Yeah, for sure.
What I find so fascinating about Proctor's work is that he uses this concept of cybernetics.
Cybernetics.
Yeah.
Like, robots and spaceships.
Right. You know, it might sound a little out there.
It does.
But actually, cybernetics is about any system at all that has a goal and a way to adjust itself to reach that goal.
So is he saying our minds are like little spaceships?
Well, not exactly.
Yeah.
But there are definitely some parallels.
Okay, I'm curious.
Think about like a simple thermostat. You set it to a comfy temperature, and it just kicks on the heat or AC to keep things stable, right?
Right.
Our self-image works kind of like that, but for our behaviors and results in life.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection. So if I have a self-image of being, say, disorganized, it's like my inner thermostat is set to clutter.
You got it. And just like that thermostat, our self-image tries to maintain consistency.
So even if I want to be organized, this subconscious part of me might be working against my efforts.
It's possible.
Wow.
It's a powerful concept.
It is. You know, Proctor gives this really vivid example of people struggling with weight loss. They try every diet under the sun, maybe even lose weight for a while, but then they gain it all back.
Yeah, it's a classic example.
Why does that happen?
The problem is they never change their underlying self-image. They might want to be slim and fit, but deep down they still see themselves as overweight.
So their actions and habits ultimately sabotage their efforts.
Their inner thermostat, you know, it pulls them back to the familiar, even if it's not what they consciously desire.
So it's almost like self-sabotage.
In a way, yes.
This is where things get really mind-blowing. Proctor talks about these things called paradigms. Basically, they're like these invisible scripts running in the background of our minds, shaping how we see the world and ourselves.
Yeah, it's like a lens we're looking through.
A lens we don't even know is there half the time.
And here's the kicker: paradigms. Just like that thermostat, they resist change. They're so deeply ingrained, often formed from childhood experiences, societal messages, all sorts of things.
So even if we know we want something different, these old paradigms can keep us stuck.
That's right.
It's like trying to run the latest software on an ancient computer, right?
Exactly. You might have all the best intentions, but the outdated system just can't handle it.
So frustrating.
Proctor argues that to truly change our lives, we need to upgrade our operating system.
Our self-image and the paradigms that underpin it.
That's the key.
Okay, so we've got this powerful self-image working like a thermostat, but also these hidden paradigms influencing everything. I'm starting to understand why just setting goals or trying to force ourselves to change doesn't always work.
Right, it's not that simple.
We need to address the root cause, right?
Absolutely. Imagine a student struggling in school. The parents are pushing for better grades. Maybe they even hire a tutor. But the student just can't seem to improve.
Because their underlying self-image might be something like, I'm just not good at math.
Exactly. They might be putting in the effort, but their underlying belief system is sabotaging their results.
Wow.
Proctor argues that until they address that core self-image, lasting change is unlikely.
So how do we actually do that? How do we reprogram our inner thermostat and rewrite those old paradigms? That's what we'll be diving into in the rest of this deep dive. This is where it gets really exciting. Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Okay, so we've established that our self-image is like this powerful internal thermostat, and it's heavily influenced by these deep-seated paradigms. But how do we actually change them? It all sounds a bit, abstract.
Yeah, it's not about like snapping your fingers
Yeah.
and just deciding to have a new self-image,
Right.
It's more like a process.
Okay.
A process of gradually shifting your perception, your beliefs, and your habits.
So where do we even begin?
Well, Proctor really emphasizes the importance of feeding your mind with positive input.
Hmm.
If you think about it, if you're constantly bombarding yourself with negative news, self-criticism, limiting beliefs, guess what?
Your self-image is going to reflect that.
Exactly.
It's like expecting to grow a beautiful garden by planting nothing but weeds.
That's a great way to put it. So you got to start by being mindful. Mindful of the information you consume, the people you surround yourself with, the conversations you engage in.
Okay, so that's step one. Clean up the mental diet. What else?
Another powerful technique Proctor advocates for is visualization. And it's not just about daydreaming. It's about consciously creating a vivid mental picture of yourself, embodying those qualities and achieving the results you desire.
Oh, so this is what athletes do when they use imagery to improve their performance.
Exactly. They mentally rehearse the perfect shot or the winning race.
Right.
And by repeatedly visualizing your desired self, you start to weaken those old neural pathways, the ones associated with limiting beliefs, and you start to strengthen new ones that are aligned with your goals.
I've heard it said that the brain can't really distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one.
That's right.
So maybe that's why visualization can be so effective.
Exactly. It's like giving your subconscious mind a new blueprint to work with.
But let's be real, just thinking positive thoughts and visualizing, it's not always enough, is it?
It's not.
Sometimes we need to take concrete action.
Absolutely. Proctor really emphasizes that. The importance of aligning your actions with your desired self-image.
So it's about behaving as if you've already achieved the transformation.
That's the key.
So if I want to be more confident, I should act confidently, even if I don't feel it at first.
Exactly. It might feel a little awkward, maybe even a little fake at first.
Right.
But by consistently acting in alignment with your desired self, you start to create a feedback loop that reinforces your new beliefs.
So it's like fake it till you make it.
Well, it's more than just faking it. It's about consciously choosing to act in ways that support your desired self-image.
And over time, those actions start to feel less like acting and more like just being you.
Exactly. You're literally rewiring your brain, creating those new neural pathways that support your desired identity.
This all makes so much sense, but I have to ask about setbacks. What happens when we stumble, when we fall back into old patterns?
It's like that autopilot analogy.
Yeah.
Just like a plane encounters turbulence, we're going to encounter challenges and setbacks along the way.
So it's not about being perfect, it's about being persistent.
Exactly. It's a process, not a destination.
And even those setbacks, they can actually serve to reinforce our commitment to change.
Because each time you get back on track, you're proving to yourself that you're capable of change.
Exactly.
And that in itself can boost your self-image.
This is such a powerful concept. It's not just about achieving specific goals, it's about a fundamental shift in how we see ourselves and our potential.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that we have far more control over our lives than we often realize.
We're not victims of circumstance, we're creators of our own reality.
That's right.
And that's such an empowering message. But it also raises an interesting question. If we have the power to change our self-image, are we then responsible for everything that happens in our lives?
That's a complex question. And there are definitely external factors that influence our lives. But Proctor's message isn't about blaming ourselves or taking on unnecessary responsibility. It's about recognizing the power of our internal world and understanding how it shapes our external experiences.
It's about taking ownership of the things we can control, like our thoughts, beliefs, and actions.
Exactly. And by doing so, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities that we might not have even imagined before.
Wow.
It's about realizing that we're not limited by our past, our circumstances, or even our current self-image. We have the power to evolve, to grow, and to create a life that's truly aligned with our deepest desires.
It's about becoming the authors of our own stories, not just passively reading the script that's been handed to us.
Absolutely. And that's a journey worth taking, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with a final thought. What if, just for a moment, you suspend disbelief and truly embrace the idea that you have the power to consciously reprogram your self-image? What new possibilities might open up for you? That's something to ponder as we conclude this episode. It's pretty amazing to think about all this power we hold within us to shape our reality. We've been talking about cybernetics, self-image paradigms. I mean, it can feel like a lot to grasp.
Definitely a shift in perspective.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, Bob Proctor doesn't just leave us with the theory. He actually gives us practical tools and techniques, to actually help people make these transformations.
That's what I love about this. It's not just a feel-good concept.
No.
There are actual methods we can use.
His programs really delve deep into understanding those hidden paradigms and the power of visualization like we talked about. Even techniques for reprogramming the subconscious mind.
It's almost like rewiring the circuitry of our brains.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it.
So it's not enough to simply think positive thoughts.
No, you have to take consistent action. Action that aligns with that new self-image.
So it's like a feedback loop. You change your self-image, and then you take action that reflects that new image. And the results you get just further reinforce that positive self-image.
Exactly. You create a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Now that.
When you start to believe in yourself and act accordingly, you'll often find that you start attracting opportunities and experiences that confirm those new beliefs.
It's like we're priming our minds to see the world in a different way, and then the world responds by showing us evidence that supports that new perspective.
It's like that old saying, right? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
So true.
Our beliefs shape our actions, and our actions shape our results. It all starts with that inner shift, with recognizing the power of our self-image.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this. What if you could consciously reprogram your self-image to achieve those goals you've been dreaming of and leave a more fulfilling life? I know it's a big question.
It is. But just imagine the possibilities. What if you could break free from those limitations you've been carrying?
All that baggage we pick up along the way.
And step into a version of yourself that's confident, empowered, unstoppable.
That's the power of understanding this concept of self-image as a cybernetic mechanism. It's not about becoming someone you're not. It's about unlocking the incredible potential that already exists within you.
It's about recognizing that you are the author of your own story. You have the power to choose your thoughts, your beliefs, and ultimately your destiny.
So go out there and start rewriting your story. Embrace the power of your self-image and create a life that is truly extraordinary.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.